So it seems like the summer of anime 2017 is fully underway now because it is week 2 of this new anime season and Kakegurui episode 2 is out. Now, like I said last week, if you're looking for this series, you're going to have to go out of your way and search for your own means because there's really no official source at this time to watch this series. Now that I said that, episode 2 continues everything that we come to expect from this series after episode 1. Gambling, psychotic faces, and just crazy characters in general, with a little bit of fan service here and there. Overall, it's very similar to the first episode, but it introduces some new characters, mainly the student council. So one of the big things about this episode I want to point out is the main male character. Now, I was told a lot in my first impressions video that the main male character is necessarily not the main character of the series. The main character is actually Yumiko, our main female character that is, really into gambling. And the reason for this is because our main male character, the main point he serves is to be like the narrator, or someone that is the guy that is normal while everyone else is a psychopath. That's kind of what that is for, what the main character, or the main male character, is for. So it's pretty interesting when you think about it like that, and why he reacts like he does is because he's being used as a way for us, the normal viewers, to understand how crazy these characters are. He's a normal guy, he's in the school, he does have a gambling problem from what we can see from the previous episode, but he's nowhere to the same level as our other characters because they just go complete on psycho when it comes to just throwing away their lives when it comes to just gambling. So there is some distinct differences there, so I'm glad many of you kind of clarified for me. I thought he was going to be the main character and he was going to get corrupted or something, but apparently not. He's supposed to be the narrator. He's supposed to be the guy that just lets us know how different these girls are compared to the average person, which is kind of obvious, but it's nice to have something like that to show how this guy, how he reacts to these girls just being complete psycho. So once again, as last week's episode, this episode has Yumiko going up against someone that is very well known and someone that really never loses. And so Yumiko goes up against this person that has 2 decks of cards, and they have to do double matching. For instance, they have to flip over the cards, and they have to have it to where both cards are the same, and then they get those cards, and they rack up points. It's kind of like if you have your pair of cards, and then you have, like 2 jacks or whatever, then you have those 2 cards, you can take them out, those are part of your points. Well, in this case, 2 decks were thrown in, so you can only use the same actual pair. For instance, if it's like a jack of diamonds, you can only use a jack of diamonds and match it with another jack of diamonds. You can't do like a jack of clubs with a jack of diamonds. That's kind of the point of that gambling game that we saw in this episode. So, yeah, Yumiko up against impossible odds, or something that would be very hard for a normal individual, because the cards, there's just so many cards, over 100 cards, that trying to match these cards up is almost impossible, so to say. Now, obviously, because of what this series is about, gambling, there's going to be some tricks here and there, especially from what we saw from the first episode. We saw some cheating, and even though it's something very cliche to see in this type of series, like cheating or whatever, someone manipulating the game to make it to where they can win, but that is a common thing when it comes to gambling, it's very nice to see a character that is cheating in gambling, that's always winning, just fall from grace. That's something I truly enjoy. I don't know what it is, but it's just something I really like. It's just a minor thing that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things of this series. It's just something I personally enjoy when I see a character that's just a straight scumbag that's cheating just lose. Even though they had the advantage all along, they still lost. And that is what we see in this episode. Yumiko is in a very similar situation like the first episode, and she overcomes these odds. Now, this is where my concern pops up. I've heard a lot of good things about this series, so I'm not going to say it's bad or it's going to get repetitive or whatever, but I'm very concerned that Yumiko winning in a very similar fashion as the first episode, I'm kind of scared that this series is going to get into a formula to where Yumiko is never going to lose. She's just so good at gambling, she's just insane, and she can always figure out every single trick or someone cheating against her that she will never lose. And also, the method of what she did in this episode was very similar to what she did in the first episode. Remember in the first episode, she was challenging our main female character, I'm assuming she's the main female character besides Yumiko, she was challenging her, and then she lost, and then after she lost, she turned around and won, because she figured out what, the person was doing. how she was cheating. And that was very similar to this episode. She lost the first time around, and she figured out how the person was cheating against her, and then she used that for her win, how she won in the long run. So when you look at it like that, there is a pattern here with these past 2 episodes, and I hope this isn't something that is a constantly reoccurring thing every single episode. For instance, someone's trying to cheat, she loses the first time around, and then she wins the next round. I would like to see her have some flaws. For instance, she fails sometimes and she loses a lot. I'd like to see that. That would add some good character development for her, and that would also allow her to showcase that maybe gambling does have its risk, and maybe she doesn't want to be that into gambling. I mean, there's just many ways that the series can go, and I mean, there's a lot of potential character development depending if she continuously wins or loses, but she needs to lose eventually, because if you have a character always winning, that is not a good thing, because that makes it to where you don't have that thrill, you don't have that, like, holy shit, she's gonna lose, you don't have that vibe anymore. It's kind of like how Fairy Tail is just fallen completely down into the shithole, because you know the characters are never gonna lose. That's just how it is. And so when you look at it like this, I just hope that Kakegurui doesn't do the exact same thing every single episode. Hopefully she does lose sometimes. Now, like I said, I'm an anime only, so I have no idea where it's gonna go. I'm just addressing something I noticed with the second episode, and I know it's not that big of a concern because this is only the second episode. It just, if this happens next week, and then the week after that, that's when we need to really start getting concerned about the series and the path it's taking with the story. Let's talk about facial expressions. Like, mainly the facial expressions, when you see the characters acting very crazy, and you see this, like, grotesque face pop up, to where they're just completely different in terms of facial expression compared to what you're used to from them. In terms of art style, you just see a massive art style shift. Those entire expressions, I guess, overall thoughts on that, what I think it's being used for, is to showcase the darkness within them, how disgusting they are. Like, they're pretty on the outside. It's kind of like this. It's like the expression of, like, the exterior of a person is very pretty, but the inside's what really matters. The inside of you is ugly and dark and disgusting, and that's kind of how you can view these girls. These girls, they may be beautiful and all that, and they may be, like, very, very fan service heavy for the audience, but deep within themselves, they are disgusting individuals that really, all they have is this greedy desire, and that's what I feel like those scenes are being used for, to showcase that deep within them, they are disgusting, even though they look like they're beautiful and angels on the outside. And I feel like that's kind of obvious, but I just wanted to talk about that, because that is the big point of discussion that everyone is talking about when it comes to this series, is those faces and the art style shift when it comes to the characters just expressing themselves. So, let's talk about the girl that Yumiko was going up against in this episode. I knew there had to be something wrong with her, because from what we saw from the first episode, with the girls kind of being psychotic and all that when it came to gambling, I knew that this girl that had the 2 cards and all that, she couldn't be an innocent, goody-goody person. I mean, she obviously wanted something, because this is a gambling series. And I was like, bro, when she finally revealed what she wanted fingernails. Like, oh my god, that is, oof. Higurashi right there. That's some Higurashi fucking nightmare fuel right there. If you've never seen Higurashi, I recommend it. But oh my god, that scene, if you've watched, you know what I'm talking about. That is probably one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever seen in a series. That just makes me cringe just thinking about it. Just thinking about the fingernail scene of Higurashi. And when I saw this girl wanting fingernails, and then Yumiko pops, it's like, oh, I heard that if you rip off the fingernails, there's a lot of pain, and if you touch them, blood will ooze out. This will really discomfort you and make it everyday life very hard on you. I'm like, oh my god, like, the way that was described, and the way that they were betting their fingernails, that was just truly disturbing on a whole new level. And I'm like, if this is just the introduction to the series, like, you gotta remember, this is like the first student council girl. If this is just the first one, imagine how high level of gambling it's gonna get later on down the road. Like, it's gonna be some crazy shit. I mean, apparently physical harm is a rarity amongst, you know, the gambling of the school, but I feel like that's gonna become a reoccurring thing. Definitely something very big if, you know, something like this was just the first thing we saw from Kakegurui. So yeah, overall the second episode, it was enjoyable. It was a good episode, but there is some obvious things in the first episode that make me wonder how the series is gonna go. Like, what's the main plot gonna be about? Is the main female character, Yumiko, is she gonna overthrow the student council, and she gonna become the student council president? I mean, that's what it was making me believe when, you know, I saw the dialogue in this episode, and also if you look at the opening song, it makes you believe that too. But who knows? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below, and I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.